What's up YouTube? It's Kaleena here, back with another YouTube video. So today my video is going to be a little bit different. Normally, you see things going on that I do and I'm not really talking as much, but this video is actually my pregnancy, through what I went, finding out how I was pregnant, my pregnancy, what I went through, and then the birthing process that I'm going to talk about is finding out how I was pregnant. This was back in March 2017. Me and my
boyfriend had been dating for like 5 or 6 months, and things were going really great. But then all of a sudden, I started sleeping a lot, and I was just moody all the time, and I was just not myself, I guess. And
he kept telling me, he was like, "You're pregnant. I know you're pregnant," and I was just like, "No, I'm definitely not pregnant." Like, because as a woman, if you were pregnant, you would know that you were, or that's what I thought. So I fell asleep, and he was like, "Yeah, it's time for you to take a pregnancy test," because like I never fall asleep. Like even to this day, after having my son, I never just fall asleep out of nowhere.
like, it has to be dark, I gotta have my sound machine on, there can be any noise, like that's the only way that I sleep. So he was like,
And walk in and see what it said. I didn't want to just hold it in my hand and wait for the results to show up. So I walked back in the bathroom and I picked the pregnancy test up, and of course it said positive. So let's talk about morning sickness, because I had morning sickness with my son. I'm pretty sure the morning sickness started about 12 weeks. So like 6 more weeks went by, and that's when I started throwing up every morning. I remember the first time I threw up, I was actually at work, which was really kind of embarrassing. I worked at a group home at the time, which is actually where I met my boyfriend, and he was there too at work. Like my stomach started hurting really bad, and I was like, I don't understand. Like I felt nauseous, but it was kind of crampy at the same time. 5:30 in the morning every morning, and on until I was about 4 months pregnant. So it went on for a while, and it was horrible. And women, that like if you had morning sickness, it's not just like regular throw up, it's like this yellow liquid. I don't even know what they call it, but it was disgusting. It left a horrible taste in your mouth. It was absolutely miserable. We went to Atlanta for my birthday in April when I was turning 19, and I hadn't thrown up like all morning. I got up, I got ready, I had put my makeup on, I did my hair. We got in the car, was driving to go get breakfast, and I still hadn't thrown up. So I was like, okay, yay, finally, my morning sickness is gone. No, it was not gone at all. We pulled up at the gas station to get some gas before we went and got food, and I opened the door and threw up all right there in the parking lot of the gas station, and that was the most embarrassing thing ever. But after I threw up, I felt better. Like, that's the thing, ladies. Like, if you get morning sickness and you don't really know how to handle it, don't try to hold it in, because that makes it worse. If you feel like you're gonna get sick, just go ahead and throw up. And know, well, I mean, everybody's different, but if you're like me, know to try to throw up before you leave your house. Always try to throw up before you have to leave if you can, because that makes it a lot easier for sure. Another good thing for morning sickness are those little cough drops they sell at Target. Well, it looks like cough drops, but they're like lollipops for being nauseous. I used when I was about 5-6 months pregnant. That helped me with just keep not being nauseous anymore. I wasn't throwing up anymore, I just felt nauseous all the time. Also, they have these little bands. I got mine from Walgreens. They're called C bands, I think. They help you with like motion sickness, morning sickness, things like that. They worked really well too. So it comes with 2 in it. I always wear mine, so it goes right here on your wrist, just like a hair bow would. I wear mine at all times. They weren't the cutest thing. Let's talk about food cravings now. A lot of women have like really weird cravings, like pickles and peanut butter, or like ice cream and pickles. I don't know, I've heard of a lot of weird stuff, but I personally didn't really have any weird cravings. The only thing that I really ate that I would find a little bit weird is pickles and nacho cheese chips together. But see, I would eat that now. So it's not really a craving. I mean, I guess it's a craving that I have, but not really weird. But I feel like a lot of women do crave pickles for some reason when they're pregnant. That's really the only craving I had, so I can't really go into detail about that because I really didn't have any craving. Now let's talk about finding out the gender. So I had been thinking for a while that I honestly was having a girl. My boyfriend kind of had a little bit of hope that we were having a girl. So we finally had our gender reveal appointment. And ladies, most of the time they do this at 20 weeks, when you're 20 weeks, but they did mine at 16 weeks because I paid $60 extra to find out. And I don't know if they do that everywhere, but luckily they were doing that where I went. So I paid $60 to find out what I was having early. So I walk in and I'm, normally you just get a normal ultrasound, but this time I knew that I was gonna find out what I was having. And we actually had a gender reveal party planned. And I told the lady when we went in there, I said, I need you to just put the gender in an envelope and give the envelope to my mom. Because my mom and my boyfriend's mom were supposed to plan the gender reveal party. Let me tell y'all that the gender reveal thing did not happen for me. And the reason that is because as soon as she put whatever that thing's called on your stomach, all you saw on that screen was balls. And yes, I mean balls. Like, my son's balls was the only thing on that freaking screen. And in that moment, I knew I was having a boy. There was no, I couldn't even try to hope for a girl or hope that it was a girl. I knew in that moment it was a boy. My mama knew. My boyfriend knew. They were in the room. They knew. So yeah, that happened. Of course, I still had the party, you know, for other people to find out. But I knew in that moment I was having a boy. And when we left that appointment, I was staring at the little ultrasound picture. And I wasn't no longer looking at it as my baby. I was looking at it as my baby boy. Because me and Derek already had a girl name picked out and a boy name picked out. So when I walked out of that office, I looked at it and I was like, now I can put a name to my baby's face. And my baby was Caden Anthony. That's who he was. He was no longer just a baby. He was Caden Anthony. And that was the most amazing thing too, y'all. I sat in my car for so long before I pulled off from that office because I was crying with excitement. I was so happy. Like, I knew what my baby was now. Now let's talk about trying to go into labor. So, I was coming up on my like 40th week because, you know, that's the term, the 40 week when you're supposed to have your baby. I think I was like a few days before I hit 40 weeks, and my boyfriend had went on a trip with my dad. They went to Tunica to like gamble and stuff and hang out. And so I stayed back with my mom and my siblings. And I was like telling my mom, I was like, Mom, like, please help me. Like, I really want to have him soon. I was coming up on my due date, you know, like I said, the 40th week. And I just wanted to go ahead and try some like natural home remedy stuff to go ahead and try to like see if I could hurry the process up. I had somebody tell me that if you eat a pineapple, that's supposed to help, and not like the canned pineapples. I mean like a fresh pineapple. I tried that. I ate so much of it until like it hurt my mouth because all the acid like tears your gums up in your mouth. It hurts really bad. That didn't help me. Like 2 days went by, that didn't help. I did walking. We went walking around the Wilson Morgan Park. That didn't help. At this point, I'm like 40 weeks in like a day. Like, I'm past my 40 week mark and I'm still showing no signs of labor. Well, my boyfriend finally came home from the trip with my dad, and he got home a little bit late, and he was supposed to go to work that night. And this is TMI, so like if anybody's like watching this, my family, sorry, but I'm just telling the truth. So me and my boyfriend had sex that night, and an hour later is when my water broke. So I don't know if that whole have sex, it'll make your water break thing is true. I don't know, like, you know, we could have just happened and my water was gonna break anyways, but I'm just telling y'all that is what happened for me, I guess. We were laying in bed sleeping actually, and TMI again, I felt like a gush of like something come out of my vagina, and so I was like, okay, maybe it's just discharge. So I got out the bed real quick and went to the bathroom. I sat down, and all of a sudden it just started coming, like pouring out. And I was like, I know I'm not peeing, because if I'm peeing, for one, I would feel it. Like, I would feel the urge to pee. And like, you know, when you pee, it comes out and you're kind of pushing it. This was just coming out. I couldn't control it. So I'm sitting on the toilet and I start yelling. I'm like, Derek, I think my water breaking. Mind you, he dead asleep. I don't know how he heard me, but he jumped out the bed, came in the bathroom. He was like, let me see. So he moved my legs over and he looked in the toilet and he was like, yeah, your water breaking. And I was like, how do you know that? And he said, because it's not yellow. Like, there's nothing, you couldn't even tell that anything was in the toilet besides the water that was already in there. So he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure your water is breaking. So my first instinct was call my mom. So I called my mom and I told my mom what was going on. And she was like, okay, I'm on my way. I mean, you could hear my dad in the background. He was like, no, Misty, just wait. You know, wait till she gets to the hospital and gets checked in, and then you can go up there. So I already had my bag packed and Caden's bag packed. And I had already packed Derek's bag too, because, I mean, I was coming up on that. I knew it was coming soon, so I had already had our bags packed. So he grabs our bag. And we get in the car. And mind you, this whole time, I still have this fluid coming out of my body. Like, it was gross, but we finally pull up at the hospital. I walk in the emergency room, tell them what's happening. They take me upstairs, put me in a room, and they hooked me up to that machine to check to see if you're having contractions. And I actually wasn't having any contractions at the moment. My water had just broke. So they put me in a room and they gave me some medicine to try to start the contractions, I guess. I don't really remember everything, but made me cry. I was crying, like very emotional. And she said some women like laugh off of it and some women are emotional, and of course I had to be the one that was emotional. But so I took that medicine, and then at that point I started feeling contractions and they were hurting so bad. And so I called my mom and I told her I needed her to come up there like right now. Like I wanted my mom because them contractions hurt really bad and that's the only person I wanted at the time. So she came up there and she was helping me get through the contractions. And by the time I hit 3 centimeters, I was like, I need the epidural right now. And y'all, I was gonna try so hard to have my son naturally, but it's just like, I don't know, them contractions are something serious. Women, come on, y'all know, like those things hurt. So they came in and did the epidural, and it really didn't hurt. I don't know if other women experience pain when they're doing it, but I did it. I didn't feel anything, so I was thankful for that. After they gave me the epidural, I slept for a little bit, and then my contractions were getting closer together, and that's when they decided to go ahead and have me start pushing. So I started pushing and pushing and pushing. And ladies, I don't know if it's just me, but pushing a baby out feels like you're pooping on yourself. Like I was so terrified. I thought I was pooping on myself, but the whole time I wasn't. I was pushing out my son, but that's what it felt like. It was super weird. So I honestly only had to push like 3 times, and then they told me that my son, you know, was born. He had came out, and then they wiped him off a little bit and they laid him on my chest. And y'all, that is the most amazing feeling in the entire world when you've been pregnant for 9 months and you go through the morning sickness and the cravings and the finding out what you're having and all the pain and trying to get your baby out. It's all worth it when they lay your baby on your chest, y'all. It is the most amazing feeling. I wish sometimes I could go back and just have that moment one more time, because it is the best thing that ever happened to me. And he was crying and I was like crying, and I was just trying to make sure he was okay, and he was a healthy, perfect little baby when he came out. It was the best day of my entire life. And now to this day, my son is almost 2 years old, and time has flown by so fast. And it's crazy because when you're growing up, you know, your parents and your family, they always tell you when you have a baby, enjoy every little moment because it flies by. And I always just looked at that as, yeah, whatever, okay. But now that I'm actually experiencing it, it does fly by. Like even just sitting here talking about this makes me want to kind of cry a little bit, because my baby is almost 2 years old. I mean, like I went from fixing his bottle to fixing his little baby food to fixing his water to his juice, and now he walks in there and he'll hand me his cup and go stand by the refrigerator because that's him telling me that he wants more juice. And it's just like, it went by so fast, and you really don't realize it until one day you're just sitting there and you're looking and you realize that, wow, you know, your baby grew up. So now I'm 21 years old and I almost have a 2-year-old, and it hasn't been easy. It hasn't. I'm not going to sit on this video and lie to y'all and tell y'all that it's been easy, because it hasn't been. Being a mom is terrifying. It's scary. It's so many feelings. Like, of course, I love being a mom. It is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But I have my days where I am terrified. I have days where I wonder if I'm a good enough mom for Caden. And I wonder if there's someone that could give him a better life some days. Yes, I do. I'm being honest. I have those days. But at the end of every one of those days, I look at my baby and I know that nobody could be the mom that I am for him. I am the best mom that I can be. I love him. I provide for him. I take care of him. And no, I don't think I'm the best mom out there, but I think I'm the best mom for my son. I do. So anyways, sorry to get a little emotional in that little part, but I hope I answered any questions that you guys had. Let me know what other videos you want. And again, please like, subscribe, and comment to my video. Thank y'all so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye.